hunters. We investigated. Boats and planes have been mysteriously disappearing in one small area of the Atlantic Ocean.
And check this out. They say it's a picture of a ghost. It was taken in one of the biggest, most mysterious caves in the world.
Can you really take a picture of a ghost?
Well, Doubting Dave's got some tricks up his sleeve.
And he answers your mysteries.
The question, is space endless?
But if I want to take a photograph of a real ghost, the first thing I have to do is find one. That must be the place.
And I'm on my way into the Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle, I think, is scary.
I think the Bermuda Triangle is scary because lots of ships and airplanes have disappeared there.
Once my dad was on a sailing ship, and he saw two gigantic bubbles bigger than the ship rise out of the water and vanish into thin air.
I wouldn't go out there.
They say the most dangerous part of the ocean is an area known as the Bermuda Triangle.
Looking at this boat, you might think it's big and sturdy looking. It can handle the sea.
But it's puny compared to the USS Cyclops. This giant Navy ship sailed into the Triangle
And never came back. The Cyclops and her entire crew of 300 disappeared without a trace. Zakia is a lot luckier than those Navy sailors. She survived the Triangle.
When we set sail, it was a beautiful sunny day. And when there was no land in sight, a little bird landed on the deck.
Then, things started going wrong. First, the water pump broke, and the showers and toilets stopped working. Then, the fuel pump broke, killing the engine. They lost all power.
The captain was at the helm of the ship when the rudder broke and the wheel slashed his arm. And the next morning, 3 slashes appeared on his arm, as if somebody had whipped it. But who could have done it?
There was no explanation for what happened on the ship. We believe the slaves were giving us a glimpse into their experience.
Slaves? I found out that some horrible things happened in the Triangle. 300 years ago, hundreds of thousands of slaves died on their way from Africa to America. Their bodies were tossed into the water.
You believe their ghosts took over your ship and attacked the captain? Why?
I thought about that bird that landed on the ship and wondered if it carried the spirit of a slave. Because in many cultures, birds are known to carry spirits, and we heard ghosts out there in the water.
Zakia says they heard deep, terrifying moans coming from the water.
Could something deep down in the water be dragging ships to the bottom of the ocean?
Maybe the answer lies in here.
I'm in Kentucky, looking for a cave ghost.
I know what you're thinking. How come I'm visiting a dentist if I'm looking for a ghost? Well, Dr. Tim Donnelly isn't just a dentist. He's an expert on Floyd Collins, one of the most famous ghosts in Kentucky. It's okay.
Dr. Donnelly keeps a small museum to Floyd Collins right here in his office. Who was Floyd?
Well, Floyd actually didn't start out looking for fame, but indeed he became one of Kentucky's most famous cave explorers.
Floyd Collins was looking for undiscovered parts of the Mammoth Caves when a rock fell on his foot.
He actually became hopelessly trapped.
He tried to free himself, but when he struggled, more rock fell on him, and he got more and more buried.
And ultimately ended up buried up to about his chest.
That's awful. The whole world followed the story as rescuers worked day and night to try to free Floyd. He was clinging to life, screaming to get out. By the time they got to him 2 weeks later, Floyd was dead. Why is Dr. Donnelly so fascinated by Floyd? Maybe because Floyd still comes in for a checkup.
Have you ever experienced anything spooky yourself?
We have actually right here in the office. This is a dental chair that Floyd actually sat in. And being relatively old, it has a lot of creaks to it. We've heard that at times. It was the end of the day, and all the patients had gone home, and things were relatively quiet. And I heard that. I think at times he probably is here with us. I've heard that other times when there's nobody around, and it's completely quiet, but we once again hear the chair moving up and down. And that's the only explanation I could come up with, that it's probably Floyd leaving for the day when we do.
That's freaky.
I agree.
And where would Floyd go after his dental checkup? People who live in the area say they know where.
They believe his ghost is haunting these caves.
The place Floyd loved the most. The place he gave his life for.
I can't go in without an official guide. Vicky has agreed to take us in. I said us because I'm getting help from the Western Kentucky Ghost Hunter Society.
Hi, Christina.
Hi.
I'm Velvet. This is Vic, Eddie, and Jason.
Hi.
The WKGHS is headed up by husband and wife team Velvet and Jason Brooks.
The ghost hunters are volunteer investigators. They use their free time to help people confirm claims of hauntings. Why do you do it?
Basically to prove to us that the haunting's real, to get our proof.
I do it for the excitement of the unknown, the adrenaline rush.
As we headed deeper into this dark cave, I wondered what would be waiting for us.
Whoa, Nellie. If you think your math homework is hard, wait till you hear this question. Space. The final frontier. This is an email from 9-year-old Modestino Orsini of Alife, Italy. It's one-line mission. To answer the deepest mystery of the universe. To boldly go where no V-file has gone before. The question, is space endless? Well, Modestino, scientists figure there are two possibilities, both of which will give you a serious headache. Possibility number one, space is endless. It just stretches on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Possibility number two, space doesn't go on forever and ever because it's round. Imagine this balloon is the universe. Imagine this balloon is... Imagine a balloon. It could be that space is like the surface of this balloon. In this case, you could fly a spaceship totally in one direction and end up right back where you started. This is called a closed universe, and because it's round, it seems to go on forever. But eventually, you'd end up right back where you started. Think of it as having the same shape as planet Earth. When you're standing in your backyard, if you started walking in one direction and didn't stop, eventually, you'd end up in your own backyard again. The problem is, space is so huge that even with telescopes, we can't see enough of it to know what it's shaped like. And finally, Modestino, if you find it hard to imagine an endless universe, try wrapping your brain around this. If the universe does end somewhere, what's on the other side?
Prepare yourself for an all-new Discovery Kids with free-to-play interactive games. Simply press the red button on your digital satellite remote to enter the thrilling world of Discovery Kids. Experience life as a mystery hunter on a breathtaking journey through the ancient pyramids of Egypt. Piece together the hidden secrets of the pharaohs. Escape the curse of the mummies. Fight off the pyramid's ghostly defenders. Dodge the spears and darts and survive to uncover the broken tablet's secret message. Or why not chomp your way to high score champion with the hungriest screen critter ever? To eat your way back to Discovery Kids, you'll have to outsmart and outmaneuver every enemy. Do you have what it takes to become a chomp champ? If you think you do, get into Discovery Kids' free-to-play interactive games. It's a whole new experience.
Zakio is sailing in the Bermuda Triangle when things suddenly and mysteriously started going wrong with her boat.
There was no explanation for what happened on the ship, and we heard ghosts out there in the water.
Could something deep down in the water be dragging ships to the ocean bottom?
I'm in the Bermuda Biological Station for research.
And this is Soma,
a single operator metabolic analyzer. Dr. Bates studies the oceans. Can Soma tell me what's in this water from the Bermuda Triangle?
Yes, it can, Araya. Very precisely. We'll just analyze the seawater sample, like so.
What do you think? Ghosts?
Possibly. More likely gas, though.
Gas? These rock crystals are called gas hydrate. They cover the ocean floor. When they melt or move a little, gas bubbles escape and go rushing to the surface. If a lot of them release gas at the same time, it could make the water very rough. Some say it's enough to sink a ship.
But Dr. Bates finds that hard to believe. So what are the results?
Well, there's some CO2 or carbon dioxide at the seafloor, but it's probably not enough to sink a ship. But maybe that's what Zakira heard underneath the boat.
And we heard ghosts out there in the water.
So you're telling me this bottle isn't filled with ghosts, but ocean farts?
Well, that's one way of putting it.
But it isn't just boats that disappear in the Bermuda Triangle. How did 5 World War II fighter planes disappear all at the same time without a trace? I'm about to take the same kind of journey on the same kind of plane.
I'm entering a cave that's supposed to be haunted. With some help from the Western Kentucky Ghost Hunter Society, I'm going to try and capture a ghost on film. It's creepy down here. I can see why people think it's haunted.
I've heard a lot about Floyd Collins, but there are other famous ghosts down here, right?
Yes, there's Stephen Bishop. He was a slave who gave tours down here. When he was granted his freedom, they said that he come back to the caves because he didn't want to give them up, and this is where he died. There's also Melissa, who was spurned by a teacher that she fell in love with. So she led him into the caves, and he died down here, and they say she still walks the area looking for him.
Take a look over at that corner.
Jason thinks there's a ghost in that dark corner.
What makes this a good spot to capture a ghost?
Well, I get the feeling that something's looking at me. The hair in the back of my neck will stand up. You know, it's like if you're somewhere and you could sense somebody staring behind you, you turn around and you see somebody there. That's basically what I get.
That must be uncomfortable.
My logic is I fear more from the living than I do the dead. You know, the dead really can't hurt you. All they can do is scare you.
I love ghost stories, but honestly, I find them hard to take seriously.
We have taken pictures that would totally amaze you. Orbs, for instance.
Oh yeah, I've come across those before. They're supposed to be life forms that travel.
Well, some people believe that they're life forms of the ghosts or spirits, and that's how they travel from one place to the other.
Can you prove that?
Only in theory. We've taken a lot of ord shots, a lot of mist from Fort Donelson battlefield. It's a Civil War cemetery. And we've gotten colored vortexes, which are supposed to be extremely rare, that we've actually even sent the pictures to Kodak, and they can't explain how they've come out.
The best way to convince me of a ghost is to see it or take its picture myself. There's graffiti on the walls. I guess we're not the only ones who come looking for ghosts down here. What's Vic doing?
He's got what we call an EMF. It's a electromagnetic field meter. It's used to detect electricity in the air, which may be a ghost.
Any luck?
Yes, definitely.
So there's a possibility I might have taken a picture of a ghost.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Now let's go see how these pictures turn out. I don't believe it.
It looks like I got something. That's an orb. And if the Kentucky ghost hunters are right, it could be the ghost of Floyd Collins. And here are some pictures the ghost hunters took in the cave. Are these evidence of a ghost? To the Mystery Lab. So do you think it's a ghost?
Well, short answer, maybe. Long answer, maybe.
But how can we know for sure?
Well, come with me.
Sweet.
All right, now, the truth is, nobody, and I mean nobody, can tell you if those are really ghosts in your photos. But I can tell you that strange things pop up in photographs all the time. People who are out hunting for ghosts are more likely to see them as ghosts, but the fact is that usually they're just accidents. And if you want to have some fun, you can recreate those accidents at home. For example, a smudge on the lens can look pretty ghostly.
That doesn't look like any of the photos we took.
No, but how about this? You can get a mysterious ball of light, or orb, in a photograph when a flash reflects off something nearby and bounces back on the lens. You can also get orbs when there's stuff in the air, like dust, and the flash lights it up.
That could explain my orb photo. There were lots of people in the cave with cameras and tools and things that could have reflected my flash back at me.
And there was snow near the mouth of the cave.
Get a load of this. A flash reflecting off smoke, mist, or even your frozen breath can look seriously ghostly.
Looks a bit misty, like this one the ghost hunters took in the cave.
If you have a camera that can take a long exposure, that means instead of a photo being taken in a split second, it's actually taken over several seconds. Give a friend a pen light and have them twirl it, and take a photo that lasts at least 4 or 5 seconds, and turn down the lights. And voila, a vortex ghost.
Could that be how the ghost hunter's vortex photo happened?
Yep, but instead of a flashlight, maybe theirs is fire.
So you think these are all accidents?
Ooh, it's possible. There are also fake ghost photos out there. I mean, people have been faking ghost photographs almost since the beginning of photography.
Yeah, I heard about that. Your butt's on fire. In the early days, photographers used glass negatives, which they'd wash and use again. But if they didn't watch the negatives thoroughly, an old picture could appear like a ghost in a new picture. When a photographer named William H. Mumler discovered that people actually wanted to have pictures of themselves with phony ghosts, he began to make hundreds of spirit photographs like these.
You know, there is a way to make yourself look like a ghost in a photo.
Can we do it?
You bet. Come with me. Maybe we should just walk.
Yeah.
Using a camera that can do long exposures and a flash, have a friend take a photo of you that's 5 or 10 seconds long. The instant the flash goes off, run away. The camera captures you both when you're in the picture and when you're not, making you see-through like a ghost.
This is great.
Yeah.
And I know just where to put it.
Whoa. Nice. I'm impressed. Christina, wait for me!
On December 5th, 1945, 5 World War II fighter planes took off from the U.S. Naval Air Station in Miami, Florida.
They called the mission Flight 19. They flew right over the Bermuda Triangle, just like I'm doing now. The planes were headed to the Florida Keys. It was a routine flight.
30 minutes later, a radio message came through. They were lost.
Flight 19 was never heard from again. No trace of the 5 planes or 27 men on board has ever been found. So far, so good. For me.
Some people say the answer to the mystery of their disappearance is in here.
Lieutenant Todd Fisher believes the Flight 19 pilots might not have vanished if they had had the state-of-the-art aviation equipment.
That's right, Araya. We have something on board this helicopter called a Global Positioning System, GPS. And it's telling our position within 200 feet where we are off the coast of Florida here. So I really believe if those guys in Flight 19 in 1945 had that technology, they wouldn't have gotten lost and would have been able to find their way home. It's a great piece of equipment, great piece of technology, and something that we use every day here in the Coast Guard.
Flight 19 was over 50 years ago, but planes and boats and people are still disappearing in the Bermuda Triangle.
That's right, Araya. I think the biggest reason is because people really go out unprepared all the time. These days the GPS that explains to you that we have on board the helicopter can be purchased cheaply for under $100, and people just don't buy them. And they go out there without a radio and are just really unprepared for the conditions. In the middle of the summertime, we get a lot of thunderstorms that come up very suddenly, and before they know it, they get swept out to sea.
The weather changes very quickly here. And that's what keeps the Coast Guard so busy in these waters. People forced to abandon ship in bad weather.
They're usually saving them from rough seas. Most of the incidents with planes and ships in the Triangle can be explained by stormy weather. The U.S. Coast Guard saves at least 600 people a year from the Bermuda Triangle. That's how Zakia got back to land.
And gas that rises up from the bottom of the ocean could account for the ghostly noises she heard. Still, there's no explanation for what happened to Zakia's boat. And no one knows for sure what happened to the 300 Navy sailors on the USS Cyclops. But when a big storm hits, the ocean is powerful enough to swallow even the biggest ships on the sea.
So they say this could be a ghost. Oh man, that's wicked.
Gotcha.
Hey, that's not fair. What are you gonna do with it?
Add it to my collection. Or I might put it on the Mystery Hunter website.
But I wasn't. I didn't. Things aren't always what they seem. Look, I was only scratching, see? Oh, no.